Good afternoon, this is Mark at the Wicked Edge Expert Corner channel on YouTube, and you can follow us on Facebook. And I want to talk a little bit to finish up with these knives that we sharpen. They're both Wicked Edge practice knives. We sharpen them up to 600 grit at 18 degrees. One of them with edge trailing down and on strokes. The other with edge leading up and off strokes. Did them both with a 4 micron, 2 micron cow leather strop, quick strop at 16 degrees is recommended. 2 degrees setback to the newcomer for stropping, and tested the sharpness, and the best score on the edge leading was 150 and on the edge trailing was 175, which is respectably sharp, but it's not a very fine edge. And I wanted to do the edge leading and the edge trailing because in reading books like this, which are technical and dry, a lot of figures, so it was hard, and I haven't even made it all the way through. But because of reading that and because of using sharpness testers in my sharpening and with the burrs and wired edges, and I somehow put that together because they're working with the wet wheel sharpeners to stabilize and get really sharp edges on knives. So I associate the edge trailing with the sharper edge. And I didn't find that in this simple test. This kind of test I call anecdotal. It doesn't mean anything. So I want to leave it alone. I don't want to sharpen it anymore right now. I got other things to do. But they're only sharpened to 600 grit. I would like to pick them up again and clamp them and continue through 3000 grit as the original question was posted and see what comes about. In the meantime, I have some other sharpening jobs that I need to get taken care of, and this is a good time to talk about this because it lets me show you what I do. This is a Zwilling knife, a 5.5 inch, they call it a prep knife. I picked it up, it showed up in my feed, my Facebook feed, and it was like $50 with the coupon code. So I grabbed it. It's listed for 110 bucks or something. I read all about it to see what they describe it, to see the angle. It's supposed to be a German Solinger, German steel knife, but the company is also a Japanese knife because Heinkel Zwilling also has a line of Japanese high-end knives. So nowhere does it say the angle on the knife. This is a knife that I bought somebody, and I've already messed with it and done some ceramic stone tests on it just to compare the feel and the scratch pattern. And I just tested it, and it tested at 175 all across it with the best meter. So it's a pretty sharp edge. I don't know why I'm sharpening it other than I got it laying here on my desk. So I may as well look at it. This is it originally out of the box, the heel. And I take pictures going forward. That's why I take pictures for prosperity. To the new sharpener, what I'm doing here with this. First of all, if you're going to take pictures, you have to file them, and you have to file them in an organized manner so you can find them. That took me a while to figure it out, and we're not going to talk about that here. But this is the heel working forward. This is the out-of-box, this knife, this Zwilling knife when I first got it. Going forward, still forward, and that's the tip. And that's the tip coming back from the other side. To give you an idea of why I take the out of the box. Whether that was sharpened by a person with their hands or that was sharpened by a machine, I don't know. But the product I bought that they represent, that they sold me, that's how the edge looks. So that gives me something to emulate when I go to sharpen. And what I see is a perpendicular grind pattern. And it's all lined up nice and it's pretty thin. And from my experience, that looks like it could be 1,000, 1,500 grit, whatever. That's out of the box. Let me see if I can play with this knife. It's here. I don't remember why it's here. And I just tested it and it's sharp. But I want to look at the edge to show you that I've already gotten crisscrossed on it with something. Looks like a diamond stone. The edge looks like it's been used, but it tests, like I said, at 175. I'm just trying to... Now when I'm looking at this, it means something because I have that out of the box comparison to look at. Even if this comes up to me to be sharpened in my sharpening regimen 2 years after I bought it, by taking the time to start, I have a reference. Here's going forward. Forward looks like there was some sort of an effort on my part to do some sharpening or stone testing on this steel. Now I can see, if you look where the pointer is on the tip, that tip is like this. Yeah, it's folded. The knife got dropped. My guess is the knife got dropped. Now here's the other side, and I can see some sort of a facet at the top of the bevel where I did something to it. So this knife is going to need to be touched up for sure. Anyway, so we have something to compare to. So I don't know why it's here, but it tests at 175. So it's really not of prime concern. Now, while this friend gave me this knife back to sharpen, I was there and I saw this knife that I had lent her some time ago and forgotten about. And I just tested it. Again, it's part of the beginner's sharpening repertoire. What I worked up to from being the beginner to getting to where I am, that I start testing the edge before. Now this is an edge that I tested, and just to show you, back here it tested 650 grams before it push cut the string. Here was 1,000 plus. 375 and 375 in the middle, 875. Here's a 950 and a 900. I'm gonna tell you what I was doing for you guys that saw me push cutting. I was pushing this knife so hard that when I pushed through, I bottomed out on the test tablet, whatever that test pedestal is called. And I checked to see if when you push on it, is it cumulative, does it keep, and it does. So I don't know if it was the 875 grams, the 900, or the 950 did the busting, or it pushed further, and that's the reading it recorded. And because of that, with this handheld method, I did the few on the tip using the fulcrum. And with the fulcrum, you have better control when you bust through on your push cut, so I didn't bottom out. And The handheld was $950 and the Fulcrum was $900. So my handheld is pretty good. And the tip even tested at $825. So this knife that I lost from my collection and loaned to my dear friend is a good study patient for the expert corners sharpening. And it's a good thing for the newcomer, a good example. So I'm going to take this knife out and clamp up this one and see if I can find, in a subsequent video, I'm going to look to see if I can find an out-of-box picture of this one that we might can compare it with how it looks today before we start to sharpen it. Thanks.